So welcome to the Hope Dealer podcast. My name is Faith Mwaura, and I'm so glad that you're here, and I believe that you're here at the right time. I know we're late, but you're here at the right time. Personally, I don't believe in accidents or coincidences. I believe in serendipity and God incidences. So this is the right show for you, and you're not here by accident. So today we are talking to an amazing, beautiful woman of God who is serving me, and she's also serving you and others as what I term a hope dealer. To me, a hope dealer is someone who has taken the time. This is someone who has taken the things that they personally hoped for from the realm of emotion, from the realm of feeling, from the realm of prayer, to the realm of faith, action, strategy, and implementation. So this is what purity is, the woman that we'll be talking to today. So these individuals have learned to create the substance of things hoped for. And now they have the evidence of things that have not been seen, what we call faith in action. So if you're someone that had hopes that you've given up on, someone who wishes you had the secret sauce, the energy, the passion, the enthusiasm, of people that you admire who seem to have it all, or if you're someone who constantly gets that tug, that pull to grow, to be more, to do more, and take the limits off of your dreams, well, this is the podcast for you. So together, let's not only break through those limits, but unearth, discover, and develop the insight, the clarity we are all seeking to live a life of purpose and vision. The podcast starts now. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick bio about the woman that we're about to talk to today. Some of you are very, very familiar with Purity Ateku. She's a woman of God. She's a motivational, actually one of the top motivational speakers and influencers in the Kenyan Diaspora community. Based on her charisma and natural sense of humor, some might say Purity was born to be on the stage, the pulpit, or just anywhere that allows her to hold a mic in her hand. She's a sought-after, prolific MC, what we call a master or a mistress of ceremony. She uses her voice and any platform afforded to her to inspire people to become addicted to potential and living their best lives. Her passions of entrepreneurship, speaking, writing, teaching, and mentorship have collided in this new chapter of her life as she launches Beyond Next Level. Don't you love that? Beyond Next Level, which she will introduce and speak to us about today. Purity has learned the importance of hope, resiliency, and humor in overcoming and triumphing over a multitude of life experiences, but few people know her personal story, the reasons for her drive, the reasons for her ambition, or why she uses her trademark storytelling and humor to heal, to build, and maintain exceptional relationships and create a vibrant life. You can catch a glimpse, just a glimpse, of how she uses her natural talent as a speaker in the memorable talk titled Reflections on My Father. And she did it from the stage of Engage Dallas. So if you go on YouTube, you can find that talk, which is life transforming. So join us today as we talk about deeply personal stories from her own life, her faith, her fears, and how those life experiences have led to new levels, next levels, and now beyond next level. So good evening, Purity.
Hello there. Oh my goodness, what an introduction. I was like, who are they talking about?
Oh, it's you. You're so special and so unique, and I'm so excited to have you here on the Hope Hub and on the Hope Dealer podcast.
Yes.
So first things first, I personally met you and know you as a very highly visible, energetic, engaged person that you are here in the African diaspora, specifically in the Kenyan community. I also know you with faith-based communities, with volunteer communities, with entrepreneurship groups. But I want you to talk to people who do not know and who are not familiar with you. Just tell them who you are, Purity, what we don't see on social media.
Okay, I'm glad. And first of all, thank you so much for having me on this platform. I love visibility because I truly, truly believe that there is something that is in me that must be shared globally. Like you had, my name is Purity Ateku, also known as Madam Vihiga, the future woman rep for Vihiga, governor, county rep, everything Vihiga. I am so blessed to be here. I am a mother of 2 young adults, Collins and Claire. And more than that, I love the Lord. I am born again, and I love life. On the side, I work at one of the big 4 firms. That's an audit firm. I'm an executive assistant. I manage an office of 32 people. And by the grace of God, I'm thriving. I love that. I love that. And the reason why I say that, Faith, is so that if you are there, you are an admin, you are a secretary in Kenya, you know, you can still do amazing in the corporate world. Prior to my joining the corporate firm, I was at a university here in Dallas for 18 years. And then I went and told my boss, I went and told my boss, Matt, I love you, but I can't see you anymore for more than 18 years. I'm branching out. And I really wanted to just go and do something new, meet new faces, and I love what I do. More than that, I serve in the community in here at DFW, and I love serving within our community. I also do a lot of MCing. I am also a co-founder of the first Kenyan women diaspora circle, KNUT, Kenyan North America Diaspora Circle. I'm one of the co-founders. So that in a nutshell is me. And the rest you will discover as time goes by.
That is amazing. What a story. So how long have you been in the US?
We came from Kenya in 1996, way long ago. So we've been in the US for 24 years.
And so you didn't start off in terms of profession. What was your first job in the US?
Oh, let me tell you, my first job, when I came to the US, okay, let me back up a little bit. Before I came to the US, I worked as a senior secretary at Old Mutual. I worked directly for the general manager. And so when I came to the US, I was like, I'm gonna do secretary, you know, I have the skills, I do shorthand, I know secretarial. And then I came in my first job, I was fired after 2 days. They couldn't hear what I was talking about. I couldn't transfer the funds. I was just like, I was so intimidated to work in America as a secretary. So I got fired after 2 days, Faith.
Because they couldn't understand what you were saying?
Neither could I. Like if you called asking to speak to Smith Johnson, I didn't hear you saying Smith Johnson. So I was transferring calls to the wrong people's voicemail. People would come for lunch and they would be like, why are you transferring calls? I'm like, and I was too intimidated to ask people to slow down. Can you repeat your name? Can you repeat your number?
Yeah.
Here I was coming with a lot of secretarial experience from Kenya. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm gonna go, and that company was called Union Gear in North Quincy, Massachusetts. So they sold gears for cars. I'd never seen a gear. So people would call to order gears, and I didn't know the steering wheel from the gear. So they were calling and they were saying what kind of gear they wanted to order. I'm like, excuse me, can you? I was fired. I probably cost them a lot of money because I couldn't understand what they were talking about. So I was fired, and then I went and did CNA work for 2 years, and I loved it. I loved talking to the older people. I loved serving them. So I was a CNA for 2 years. And then I thought the desire to work as in an office was so great within me. So after I had gotten to learn how to speak a little bit more clearly where the Americans could understand me, I went to a temp agency and they sent me to a university as a temp. I became permanent, and I worked at Northeastern University for, I believe it was 5 years until we moved to Texas.
Wow, what a story. That's amazing. That's a very unique story. But even let me backtrack just a little bit
Yes.
further. Did you ever imagine that you would call America home? Like in your
I
wildest
did not.
imagination?
Oh
You
no,
didn't?
we came to America.
Mhm.
I was gonna be here after 5 years. I was gonna be rich. I was gonna go home, build a mansion, and be coming back and forth. And
Mhm.
here I am, 24 years.
Yes.
You can't say you're coming shortly and going back. I didn't know what I know now.
Right, right.
Mhm.
Oh
Yes,
wow. So
yes.
when you arrived, did you feel that this was a welcoming culture? Did you face any difficulties
When we
assimilating aside from your job? Were there other things that you faced as challenges or pressure here? Culture shock?
a lot of it, Faith, when I came to America, we weren't doing too well. Actually, the reason why we came to America is because my husband then and I had lost our jobs. So we were
Mhm.
sitting there looking what to do. And between that time I was fired and by the time we came to America, I used to hustle. I used to go to Gekomba, secondhand, Gekomba, the
I know
secondhand place.
Gekomba. Yeah.
I would go and buy teddy bears
What?
and I would put teddy bears in a Volkswagen that we had that could hardly start, and
Uh-huh.
I would hawk those teddy bears. I don't know what the craze was about teddy bears, and I would put them. Valley Road. We used to go to Valley Road
Mhm.
Church. We would
Mhm.
stop our car at Valley Road at the stage, and people would come buying the teddy bears. And I always had a great personality, a good smile. I would sell the worst teddy bears for any kind of money to people. And then between then, I thought, you know what, people still ate. So I started going to Marigiti at
Yeah.
5 a.m. I went to Marigiti, would buy potatoes, nyanyas, go sell in the estate. I did that like for 2 weeks, and I was like, no, the matope was too
Too
much.
much. Yeah.
I was like, no. So we decided to come to America. And when we came to America, we landed in Boston in September 1996, and it
Mhm.
was so cold. And my friends were like, oh, you can't take your sweaters. You'll just go to America. You'll get nice sweaters. You can't take jackets. So we came like it was in the summer.
Yeah.
I came with two little kids. Collins
Mm.
was 7, Collins was 4, Claire was 1, and we really, really struggled.
Oh my
We
God.
used to sleep on the floor. We were housed by a wonderful couple, but they only had 2 rooms, and those 2 rooms were occupied by 2 families. So
Yeah.
we used to sleep on the floor with our children and a mattress. I mean, like seriously, like
Mhm.
in the living room, and it was the most uncomfortable. But you know what? We didn't care. We were in
No.
America.
Exactly.
And when I deep inside, I knew things were going to be okay. And so
Yeah.
there was a lot of shock,
Mhm.
not knowing that what will happen to tomorrow. And of
Yeah.
course, we didn't find the money that we were promised we would find on the roads. We would,
Mhm.
so it was such a struggle, but I thank God for that struggle because it strengthened me. It
Yeah.
also made me very sensitive and very aware. When I
Yeah.
see new people arriving from home,
Mhm.
I'm very, very compassionate because I know what we went through.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's a wonderful, like Mangeni is saying, that's a beautiful testimony. And I agree. A lot of us, when we came to the US, it was
Yes.
a huge culture shock. For me, it was straight to school, dormitory, all white school. And my host mom was African American. So talk about culture shock. And in Wisconsin too. I think Mangeni, you're either in Minnesota or
She's in
Wisconsin. So
Wisconsin.
that was,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
yeah, so that was very, very different. But, I'm glad that you're telling that story because there are people who are in that situation right now, either coming here or have just newly landed. But, you can see with Purity's story that she turned out okay. You just
Yes.
have to work hard and know that on the other side there are going to be plenty of opportunities, and it's up to you to take a hold of those opportunities. But I also wanted to ask you, maybe on a more serious note, did you experience any discrimination when you came here? Exposure to racism?
You know, I honestly, the first place we experienced discrimination or racism was in Texas. When we moved from Boston to Texas, we drove from, we drove. It was like probably like 28 hours we drove. And I remember we drove through some place and we saw entering Texas. And I was like, oh my God, tumefika Texas. And then 5 hours later, we're still in Texas. We were transitioning from Boston to Wichita Falls in Texas. And I remember at some point we were lost. We didn't know where we were. And so I told my husband, let's go and knock on that door and ask somebody, where are we? Because we moved to Texas in 2001, we didn't have cell phones. We had a map that we couldn't read. And so we're driving. And we go and pull into this compound and we ask this person, can you tell us how to get to Wichita Falls? And this person came out with a gun and he said, you know what? If you don't get out of my property, I'm gonna shoot you. Let me tell you, oh my goodness, we drove like crazy. So that is the first. The next time I ever experienced that was in a place that I worked in my last job, and I was working at an event, and this man, he was so rude to me and he called me the N-word. And my boss, I still remember, my boss, a woman, came and told that man, right now, get off this tent. We can't serve you. And it felt so good that somebody who wasn't even my color defended me. Because when he said that, I was like, I don't want to be fired, but I really want to just throw something at him. But it took I went and told my boss, because I was in tears when I went to my boss. And my boss came and said, he told that man, excuse me, you don't belong here. That's not how we treat people. Please get off. And that man was escorted out of that place. Oh, wow. That, that to me was the only time that I remember so vividly. There is those subtle that you can see, why are these people following me in a store? But those two occasions are the ones that I remember very, very clearly.
Wow. That's a powerful. And I wanted to talk a little bit about, your background and also your experiences here in the US, the good, the bad, the ugly, and how you made it and how you continue to move forward. Now, I wanted to also ask you, now that you're deeply entrenched in this culture and it's 24 years, how do you keep the pieces of your Kenyanness alive? What are those things that you do to keep yourself whole?
I am so African. I don't even try to be anything else. Awesome. Every time I get out of my house, every time I am anywhere, I want to be the best representation of Africa. I want to be the best representation of Kenya. So I don't fake anything. I am African. On weekends, I wear my African clothes. My accent sells me pretty quickly. And I always take advantage of that to tell, people will be asking, oh, where are you from? I'm like, thank you. I'm glad you asked. You're going to know because I'm going to tell you. And I start telling the people about where I am from. More than that, I think just the values that are so greatly entrenched in me, the values of kindness, the values of because I'm driven. I'm an African driven woman. So some of those values are really a representation of Africa, passion, love, because I think if there's anybody who is loving, it's us as African people. So I don't pretend to be anything else. And I am very aware that everywhere I go, I represent my continent of Africa.
Oh, I love that. I love that purity. So you didn't, because I know there are some people who struggle with that idea of, I'm in a new country, I'm in a new culture, so I'm going to try my best to assimilate into the culture where I don't stand out. And you're right, in terms of how you dress, in terms of how you show up, you're always showing up as authentically who you are. You don't try to be, So I really love that about you. So let's pivot back to Hope, because this is the Hope Hub and this is the Hope Dealer podcast.
Yes.
And just talk a little bit about your brand of hope and how you deal hope. You're a hope dealer to others in the communities that you belong. What I know about you is you're very vocal, you're very active, you're very engaged in various Kenyan diaspora communities, and I believe it's because you have a heart for and are intimately aware of the kind of issues that face immigrant populations, and specifically our Kenyan immigrant population, specifically even more so the Kenyan women, because you want all of us to flourish and to thrive. And I have seen you continue to step up, to advocate, to speak, to encourage, to even pray for people on live video on all kinds of issues: domestic violence, immigration paperwork, all depression, and all of those things. But what, I know you can talk to you can speak about a multitude of things, but what I want you to maybe narrow down is really speak about those things that I see you as being passionate about. And one of those is parenting and raising kids well in the diaspora. You have Collins and Claire, and they're just so well grounded and just well rounded and grounded, and beautiful kids. What advice do you have for parents who are struggling and feeling hopeless in terms of raising kids in the diaspora? And what potholes and roadblocks do you think they should watch out for based on your experiences?
Thank you. Yes, like you heard, I'm a mother of two, Collins and Claire. They're not perfect children, just like anyone else's children. They are not perfect. And I always say this: every child goes through a stage. Every child goes through a season. And there's that season that your child has to go through, regardless whether they are being raised by a single mom, by a single father, by foster parents. There are stages and seasons that children go through. The reason why I'm very, very passionate about raising wonderful children, first of all, every child is unique. Every child is wonderful. I made a lot of mistakes when my kids were young. There are things that I really, really cared for that today I'm like, you know what, why did I even care about that? Yeah. When my kids were young, I remember how we struggled. Like I told you, when we came to America, we really, really struggled because we didn't have good job, my husband and I. And so we relied on one car. So one of us was coming in, the other one was going out. Yeah. And so we would be exchanging cars at the train station. We would be exchanging cars at the door, literally at the door. And I remember one time, my husband is very, he used to be the one watching the kids during the day, and then he would go to work at night. I remember one time I came from work, and I was so upset because the house was unruly. There was cereal everywhere. The couches were all over the place. And I remember him asking me, okay, tell me, do you want a clean house or happy kids? Wow. And I was like, huh? Okay, it stung like for a minute, but I was like, for real, my priorities are in the wrong place. And I started to refocus on what was important for me. These kids clearly had been having a happy day with their father, but I was concerned that the house wasn't clean. The house, the curtains were all over the place. I'm like, from that day, I decided I'm going to pay attention to things that matter. Cleanliness will come second after my children. And so I opened my heart to learning how to parent. And because I didn't have anybody to mentor me to be a good parent, I had to learn through making mistakes. And then I was very strict. Like I was like, my house, there was, it wasn't negotiable to do some things. But as I grew up, I started knowing that my kids were needing to express themselves. So we started giving them room to express themselves. We started allowing them to have a place at the table of the Ateku household. And the reason why I bring that is because we, on a daily basis, we are raising amazing, brilliant children. Yes. Children that are going places. When I say brilliant, they may not be A students, but I'm talking of brilliant that, kids that can reason, kids that can have a conversation one-on-one, kids that can go and make a life out of wherever they work. And so what we decided to do was to really give our kids room to express themselves and to allow them and equip them to be the best version of themselves. So things that other people really care, we started, yes, we did care, but we those things weren't going to break us.
Yeah.
And so what I can tell a parent struggling with a child is that your child could be going through a season. Just like we have fall, summer, and winter. And those seasons end. The season your child is may seem like it's taking forever. And the sweet seasons of summer are short. And you are feeling, my God, this fall, this winter is taking too long. My child is misbehaving. My child is smoking weed. My child is lost in whatever it is.
Yeah.
That child is yours. And you are the best cheerleader for your child. It doesn't matter how down that child has gone. Talk to that child. Show love to that child. Reason. You know, the Bible says, God says, come, let us reason together. This is God calling his children. Come, let us reason together. Faith, I can't tell you how many times I would sit with my children and we are reasoning. And I couldn't even be, I used to be like, is this really me? Pinching myself. Is this me sitting here reasoning with these young people? I mean, unaona unacholewa, unapangiwa, but you want peace in your home.
Yes.
And so we had to have that place of dialogue. Let me tell you, when we go with our kids on vacation or anywhere, we allow them to be the best version of themselves, because I say your kids will be the happiest in your home, nowhere else. If they are happy in your home, they will be happy at their place of work. They'll be happy in school. And I always say, let that child feel home. That home is the best. You know, as we used to be told, oh, if you get pregnant, don't come here. If you get somebody pregnant, don't come home. You know what I told my children? If you go get pregnant, come home. Here, this Ateku home. This is your mother. You will always have a place in this home. If you go get a girl pregnant out there, come home. In fact, bring the girl, because there is no better place for our children than our homes. We may not agree with some of the things that they are involved in, but you know what? There is nowhere safer for our children than in our own home. I always say, let him come home drunk. Let him come high on bangi. Let him come high on heroin. And you will be seeing him on the bed in your living room than knowing that he is under a bridge somewhere.
Wow.
And Faith, we had to change the way we brought up our children. Yes, we were still Kenyans, but the harshness, the toughness of Kenyan, it didn't work. It doesn't work for these children.
No.
Yes.
I totally agree. And, you know, earlier I was talking to you about even for me, my daughter who is in high school, and some of the challenges that I'm having, where I can see I am actually becoming my mother.
Yes.
You know, and and my father, because it's the way we were raised, where it's like, no, you don't bring a bee to this house. You know, you start talking like your parents, but that's kind of where we came from, and those are the expectations. And so, you know, you find yourself where you're having to compromise on some things, or try to balance out the way you're parenting your kids, because, you know, they're facing a multitude of challenges just by being children of immigrant parents, you know, so they're also facing that aspect where they're not too, I think your daughter did a talk on this in terms of identity, in terms of the Engage talk. And I highly recommend that you guys go listen to Claire Ateku's Engage talk. What was it titled?
It was actually on identity. Claire spoke about her identity. She spoke about how she was confused if she was African, Kenyan, American. And it was, she had to navigate all those three identities to find, who am I in this America? My mother wants me to be African. I go to school. I go to, you know, I'm out there. I'm at my place of work. Who am I? So it's a very good video.
Wonderful. So yeah, that's definitely something that I highly recommend that people go and watch, especially if you're raising children here currently, or you plan to have children here in the US. But this is a good point for us to pivot to your talk, purity.
Yes.
Last year, you gave a talk on Engage titled Reflections on My Father. And most of us know how important the man that was your father was, that he
Yes.
was your best friend and someone who validated you and made you the woman that you are today.
Yes.
We knew you cared about him so deeply, especially
Yes.
because you shared him on social media, his
Yes.
health journey, the highs and lows, very, very openly.
Yes.
And when I watched your talk, the one thing that resonated with me were your words, and I'll quote, you said, when all is said and done, it's the many small things we do with our loved ones that, when pieced together, creates treasured and priceless memories. I want you to talk to us about that experience and what hope you have for someone who is dealing with loss.
Let me say, my father was not just a father. He was the greatest man that I ever knew. And my dad was it's amazing how the year goes so fast. It'll be a year next week on March 14. And may his soul rest in peace.
Yeah.
My father was the best thing that ever happened to me. Let me tell you, Faith, the reason why I said it's the small things, the little things that we don't even think matter a lot. When I was growing up in my village, I didn't know that we weren't rich. We had a house, Matope house. We had a mud house, yeah? We used every December, my best thing in December was to go get the sand, and we would cement it, you know? That was our home when I was growing up. By the grace of God, we moved from there when I was about to get married to a nice, now more permanent house. But I didn't know that we were not rich, because in our home, we were so happy that actually I never knew that we weren't rich. And the reason why was because my father provided the best, not even material-wise, but he provided for love. He provided for the simplest thing. My dad was a driver for Kenya Commercial Bank, and he would leave, like sometimes he would be taking stuff to Isiolo, and he would sneak out from going to Isiolo, sneak by our home in Nyeri, bring bread, you know, the big bread, and he would wake us up at 3 a.m. First of all, he wouldn't even call because we didn't have phones. So he would sneak home and wake me up and my brother to sit with us and just eat together. And so I grew up in a home that was full of joy and love. And when my father came to live with me, and especially when we found that he had cancer of the esophagus, deep inside Faith, I knew that we didn't have a lot of time together. And so what we did was to just enjoy ourselves and to enjoy the presence of being with one another. If you know me, for those, like if you come to my house today, I give you 100% of my presence, because my presence is what matters today to you for the time you have come to visit me. My dad and I, we dwell so much on each other's presence. And the reason why I say that is because of the short time that we had, we made memories. I took him for pedicure and manicure. And he was like just sitting there having fun, while my mother was like, how much is this? Like for the three of us, it was like 180, because we did manicure, pedicure, and the whole massage and all that. Yeah. And my mother was like, oh, this could have bought me half a cow. I'm like, no. My dad was like, no, let's enjoy this moment.
Yes.
Because family is all that we got. And the things that we do with one another, and it's something that I practice on a daily basis. This right here is the moment that we are assured of, not tomorrow, not after this broadcast. Faith, I could just drop out of this and die right now, God forbid.
Yeah.
But the moment that you are living is what you are assured. And what matters in life is what you are doing with this very moment.
Right.
And this very moment, you can use it wisely or you can squander it.
Yeah.
And I am practicing this whole idea of being present. When I'm with my children, I'm practicing being present. I am practicing turning off my phone. It's not working very well, but I'm practicing. I am so deliberately aware that I need to plug off just to be with the person that I am with.
Mm-hmm.
I went to see a therapist today because I've been wanting to know how to deal with the death of my father. And I said to her that I have no regrets over anything as far as my dad's life is concerned, because we did everything, we said everything before he died. The day he died, he called me and he told me he loved me 3 times. So, and I know that there are people who are watching me who could be struggling with a parent relationship or with a child relationship. Let me tell you, there is nothing as good as when somebody is gone and you know for sure that there is no guilt, there is no regret. And that's how it was for me with my father. And I would urge you, if you are watching me and you have this strife with anybody, Faith, my prayer is that we won't be people who keep grudges in such a way that somebody is gone. Once somebody is gone, they are gone. You'll never be able to tell them, I am sorry. You'll never be able to say, forgive me. It's not worth keeping a grudge. My dad was my best friend, but let me tell you, we fought like cats and dogs. My mother used to tell people, hey, how are watu usiwaigilie? Nobody could come in between us. When we fought, we fought. But when we made up, we made up. And you know what we fought about? Silly things. Dad, you need to eat, you need to drink milk. No, I'm not drinking milk. You're drinking it. I'm gonna pour it. You know, silly things. But I tell you, the joy of my father going without any regret. I mean, I treasure that. And every day I'm living a life where if I know I have hurt you, I won't be too high-headed to say I am sorry, because let me tell you, it's not even for you, it's for me. So if you are there and you're watching me, forgive somebody who have hurt you, love on people like there is no tomorrow, and live in the present. When we are with our children, let our children feel we are with them. You're not with your children and on Facebook at the same time or on WhatsApp. Give them 100%. And that was the gist of my talk. Give the people you love the total, your total self. Just like God said, love me with all your heart, with all your might, with all your strength. I am loving the people that are in my space with everything that I have got. And Faith, if I don't feel like I am worth being in that space, then I'm not going to be in that space. But any space I am in, I am going to be there intentionally, and I'm going to deliberately make that the best space.
Wow, that's amazing. And I know for sure that's helping someone. That has helped someone who is currently in that season. For me, all I can say is I'm so grateful that you shared your father, to the point where we felt like he was our dad. And so if we had that close connection just by watching you sing and talk to him and joke with him, we knew how devastated utterly you are by the loss. But I'm also happy that you continue to share how you are dealing with the grief, and also how you are going to continue to memorialize him and to celebrate his life, right? So throughout the year that he's been gone, you've been talking about that you hold him still dearly in your heart, and you continue to epitomize some of those things that he taught you. So I feel like we need a break.
Let me tell you what my therapist told me about mourning those who have gone. She told me that you're just continuing to love this person, even though this person is in a place you cannot see them. They are still very much part of your life. My father is in my heart, let me tell you, I don't speak to him because I would be so afraid one time I came home and I thought I heard him walk, and I'm like, Dad, no, don't ever do that to me because you're scaring me. I love you, but you can't come back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't do those things of, Daddy, let me talk to you. No, I don't. But I just know that he has transitioned. I don't see him, but my love for him and his life continues in me forever.
Forever.
Yes.
Wow, that's so beautiful.
Thank you.
So now when you introduced yourself, you talked about this Madam Vihiga.
Yes, ma'am.
And a lot of people call you Mheshimiwa.
Yes.
Is that ambition still in you in terms of running for political office, or is that something you just about?
Let me tell you, I have lived in Vihiga longer than I have lived in the place where I was born. And I fell in love with the people of Vihiga because of the family that I am married into.
Yeah.
They are just awesome, awesome people.
Oh.
And when I went there, I saw that with my personality and with my drive and with my giftings, that there are things and there are ways that I can contribute on a larger level.
Okay.
And so what I am hoping to do in real good time in the future is to find what God wants me to do in that place. And I have started doing small things. Like I'm educating 2 girls from Vihiga. I'm educating them. I had to remove them from an environment that wasn't conducive for them. And I sent them to boarding school.
Okay.
But then I realized that those were just 2 girls. There is more that I need to do.
Yeah.
So what I have done, Faith, is to start strategizing on what I can do in the future. And I have no doubt that I will represent Vihiga soon at the time of God. It might as well be governor. It might be whatever it is.
Yes.
I will shoot for the for the women's rep.
Yes.
But God willing, it could be governor. I don't know yet.
Wow.
My dad used to say all the time, I'm gonna come. He used to say, I'll be driving you when you are MP. When he passed away, I'm like, no, I don't have a driver, So I'm very ambitious and I'm very purposeful about Vihiga. That's where I'm going to retire pretty soon.
Yes.
So I am strategizing on how best I can go and serve there.
Wow.
Very soon I will start a feeding program where I'm hoping to be feeding kids before they go to school, because I realize there are kids who go to school hungry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those kids, there's no way you're gonna learn when you go to school and you're starving.
No.
So I am working on that, and next time I'm going home in the summer, I'm going to go and formalize it, because I want to do it in a way that is meaningful.
Yeah.
And hopefully in the future, what I want to do is not just feed the people, but to show them how to feed themselves. I'm gonna go start zero grazing. My mother-in-law's cow they can be blown by the wind. I don't even know why she keeps it. I've tried to tell her to sell it so that I can get her a good cow, and she won't agree. So I want to go and introduce zero grazing. My mother is a zero grazer. So I want to introduce ways where people in Vihiga can feed themselves. So I want to introduce them how to do small scale farming. They don't have to rely on foods that take 6 months to grow. You can grow carrots. People can eat carrots. You can grow, stuff that, things that grow quicker. I want to show them how to keep cows, to keep cows. I want to show them how to do, to have chicken so that they can eat eggs, they can eat, I have a lot of big plans for Vihiga. I do.
Oh my God.
I do. Yes,
that's amazing.
Oh, I know it is. I'm very passionate about the area.
Oh, I'm glad. So not only are you a leader, but you're also, gifted in other areas. And I know people know about your storytelling. Yes. They know about your writing. They know about your speaking as an MC. One of the things that I admire about you is your confidence. Yes. So even you guys can listen to her and you can hear she exudes so much confidence. Yes. Were you always that confident, especially around your gifts? let me put it this way. One time, and I don't remember exactly when this was, but it was either in your inbox or through comments or something, where it was around the time of the Miss Universe pageant, and Steve Harvey was doing this whole pageant.
Yes.
And then Purity told me, she was like, you see what he's doing? I can do that. I can do that so easily. Yes. And I was like, you know what? I actually have confidence that you can, like without a doubt, I know that you can. And when you look at people like Steve Harvey, when you look at Steve Harvey and you look at Purity, it's almost the same vein. He's a speaker, he's a comedian, he's an author, and he's a radio personality, Purity, which you wanted to be a disc jockey at some time. So speak about, how did you discover your gifts, and have you always known that your gift?
When I was growing up, I have always loved to talk. I talked so much. I got into trouble in primary school, but the teachers loved me because, you know what? I was entertaining. I didn't even know that I was entertaining. And this is what I'm going to tell you, Faith, is that the Bible says that the gifts in a man will make way for you.
Hey.
And those, the gift that is in you will bring you before kings. The gift of God in you. And that is why Beyond Next Level, which I will talk a little bit about, it's all about empowering people, inspiring people, and encouraging them to go find that which they are called to go and do. Faith, when I was young, I was bullied in primary school. I was bullied for 3 years from standard 5, 6, and 7. And so what I started to do was to escape the bullying into writing. I used to write a lot. I would write compositions and the teachers would be like, what are you talking about? Because I would literally, and I believe that the gift of writing was God-given, because I would write until the teachers would take my composition to go and read it in the staff room. Some of it was very graphic. Some of it was very, it was imagination on overboard.
Yes.
And so what I started doing was just, I used to be told by my mother to take food to the people who are working in our shamba. And I would go sit with them, and they wouldn't work anymore because I would just start telling them stories. And they wouldn't work. So my mother always used to say, hey, she would say in Kikuyu, get away with your giant stories. But I'll tell you, because of my being bold, because being bold is what has made me be where I am. Confidence and boldness and being sure of yourself.
Right.
I always say that there is a way that there's a time for the longest time. Yes, I was bold, but I was always looking at people doing things, and I would say the day I will be told to preach, I will preach like Mrs. So and so. I will preach like Wairimo Nelson. I will preach like anybody. I would just think of that. I will preach like Juanita Bynum. And then I realized, purity. There is no purity on earth but purity.
Amen.
And then I realized I have to be myself because everybody else is taken. Faith, let me tell you, even when I am feeling like I am not confident, you will never know. Because all you need to do is to step out. The rest is history. Once you take the first step towards your calling, God summons all his angels and they back you up. And I'm telling you, because that's what you have been purposed for. When you step out to go and do whatever it is that God has called you to do, you will be amazed at how well you will do it. I always say, I can MC the inauguration of the US presidential inauguration. I can MC it without a shadow of doubt because that's who I am. And I always say that you don't know what you are capable of doing until you forget the voices that are negative out there and you believe the voice of God that is in you. Because all I do is to step into my lane and I stay in my lane. And I'm telling you, when I was young, I used to go to the shamba and I would be like, because I really wanted to be a DJ. Oh, baby, I wanted to be I wanted to be the person like who is choosing the music. So I really wanted to be a DJ and I told my mother I want to be a DJ. And she was like, oh, you're ni kazi ya wakora, you know. So she was like, you will be sleeping in the studio. No, you're not going to be a DJ. Then I wanted to be an air hostess. I was too short.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, that gift in me, it kept coming. It kept coming. I didn't even know that I could MC until I went to a place and there was nobody to MC. And I was like, here, bring the microphone. I was in a wedding. Bring the mic. The MC was late. Bring the microphone. I'm telling you, by the time the MC came, I had done the job. And then I realized, oh, you mean I can do it? And as parents, we must encourage our children to thrive in the area of their giftings. Let's not force children to go do things that they are clearly not going to enjoy. Because I will tell you, when they are performing, when they are doing that which they are gifted to do, oh, they will be at the happiest. You can't force your kids to be the next Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan. No. If he doesn't want to play basketball, maybe he wants to play tennis. Maybe your child doesn't want to be a pilot. Maybe he wants to be a plumber. Maybe he wants to be a teacher.
Right.
Allow that child to thrive, because chances are if you force that child to go do that which is not in him, you will have wasted that child's time, you will have wasted your money, and you will end up with a frustrated child.
For sure.
Let's allow our children to thrive, to spread their wings, because I'm telling you, we're raising global citizens. They want to go ahead and do that which God has called, and they know. If a child comes and tells you, Mom, I want to play piano, allow them. If they tell you, Mom, I think I'm not gonna play piano, listen to them. Because you can tell when you are not gifted in something. I've tried some things, Faith, and then I realized, what was I thinking? I'm like, what? No way, Purity, you did. No, that's not even what you're called to do.
No.
Yes.
So you're saying, did you cultivate those gifts? Or is
on
it
a daily basis
natural, or do you practice and cultivate them?
You know, every gift that God has given you, you have to stay in it. You have to cultivate that gift. You have to fan it into flame. You know, the way the Bible says, fan into flame the gift of God that is in you. And the reason why you do that, like for instance, I go to events. When I go to MC at an event, I find out who are these people. Where am I? If I'm emceeing an American event, I will do it differently. I will want to study the cultures of these people. If I am in my home ground, I am like, I know these people. But if I'm in a place, Faith, if I'm in a place where it's a young people's event, I will know what language they are speaking. And that's why I am so relevant when I go to MC. Because you know what? They'll be talking of Diamond. I may not know his music, but I will tell you, I will know something about Diamond.
Wow.
You have to be relevant with your dream. You can't come from Kenya and now decide to be, it's just like when you come to Kenya as a nurse, you have to be certified to be a nurse in America. Same for your gift. You can't just sit on your gift. You have to keep cultivating it. You have to keep feeding into that which makes you shine. So if it's storytelling, I have to know my audience. The way I tell my stories on my wall is different from how I tell stories on other walls. Because you know what? On my walls, my pastor is there, my bishop, no, he's not. My bishop might be there. He might, you know, I have to be aware of the audience that I serve. Let me tell you why stories are powerful, and the stories that I tell. Stories help us navigate life through challenging times. Stories, like the stories that I am telling, I told about my dad, that is a story that can save a family. Just telling the stories of how my dad and I used to interact, stories help us navigate tough times. I used to visit with this lady who used to do my hair. And she said when she was going through a tough time, she was going through an illness. What kept her going was going back to the stories that I had told, and she would just read, and she would feel so alive, and she would smile for another day.
Oh.
We must tell stories, and we tell stories through so many ways. The way we live, my whole life is a story. I tell the story of my life, the way I talk, the way I relate to people.
Right.
You know, here on the Hope Hub, we're telling our stories and hoping that somebody can take that story and run with it and use that story to learn something that they otherwise did not know.
Yeah. Wow, that's really, really powerful. Thank you for sharing that in terms of gifts, because I know that there's some people who know that they have gifts within them. People have told them you have this particular gift, but they're not working that gift. And it's important to know that, like what Purity was saying, you know, you're given God-given gifts, and they are without repentance. They're irrevocable. They're within you. They're active. But that's like potential energy. So you have to then optimize, right, those gifts and optimize them now. So you're not wasting that opportunity and that gift. You remember Miles Monroe saying the wealthiest place in the world is not those gold mines in South Africa, it's the graveyard, because most of us die with our gifts still within us because we did not optimize those gifts. So
you know what happens, Faith? When you don't use your gift, because you know it is in there. When you do not use that gift, you become very disgruntled, because when you don't use your gift, somebody will be using theirs, and you will be looking at them, and you will be like, why are they doing like that? Who do they think they are? Because you are not using the gift that God gave you. And the gifts that we have been given, they are not for us. They are to serve other people. And when you sit on your gift, it means that someone is missing out on your gift. When you are sitting on your gift, it means that somebody somewhere is missing out on a gift. You are gifted to preach. You are gifted to just, you are gifted to encourage. You are gifted to inspire. It means somebody will sleep without inspiration. Why? Because you're sitting on that gift. And we have to utilize the gifts that God has given us.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's going back to me speaking about how confident you are, and the fact that you always speak positively about your life and who you are. I think it also speaks to this idea that even if you're actively working on a gift and you don't think you've arrived yet, you need to be your own hype woman or hype man. And you know what that means is, like, when you think of Muhammad Ali, for example, he was he would hype himself up. He would talk about himself positively. He would say, you know, I float like a butterfly and I sting like a bee. There's no one who I am the greatest, right? And he spoke to his opponents and he told them, I am the greatest, right? To the point where they actually feared him, and they thought, like, oh, there's no way I can beat this man. So you also have to believe that you have greatness in you, because you're created in God's image, and those gifts reside within you. And if you're having a hard time figuring out what your gifts are, let's pivot to what Purity is going into in this next part of her career with this.
Let me tell you.
Okay, Faith, go ahead.
Let me tell you. There is nobody who believes in you more than yourself. And the reason why I say that, anytime I have ever written something, let me tell you, I don't waste words. I type something, I am the first person to not just like it, but I love it. Oh my goodness. When I am done with this, I will go and listen. And I'm not what do you call those people who love themselves to a fault? Narcissist. No, it's loving and being so confident of who you are. Who you are in God. Because let me tell you, these gifts in purity, they are nothing without the powering and the backing of the heavens. When you have a gift, you have to be so confident, because I say the things that I do, nobody else can do them better. The calling that I have been called, nobody else can be called better. And I always say, I am my best supporter. And if you don't believe in yourself, it will be very hard for you to convince anybody else to believe in you.
That's
true. Faith,
Faith,
I have been in places where I'm like, you know what? I don't feel the love, but let me tell you, I came here with more than 1,000 voltage full of love. Woo! And I am going to love on myself. Yes. Because if you don't celebrate yourself, every day I look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, Purity, we look good. Let me tell you why. Oh, yes. Oh, by the time I go on that stage, I am so aware that, that I carry a presence in me. And it's not empty presence. It's the presence of purity and God. And we must do great. I always say, oh, Purity, today we are going to do great. When I enter into the office, I'm like, we're getting a promotion today, Purity. We are shining. You know, when I make a presentation at work, I'm like, how do you think we did? We did good. Because the moment you're confident, even when you go on stage, ooh, nobody can talk you down. And that's why we must pump up our children with the confidence that is coming from us as mothers, as grandmothers, as foster mothers, because we are their best cheerleaders. Absolutely. Even when they're doing bad, even when they bring that C, you're like, okay, this is C, but I tell you, baby, we can do better. What do we need to do? Because I'm telling you, Faith, there is nobody else who will ever celebrate you more than you. Yeah. By the time the world celebrates Purity there, I am like, we're doing good. We're going places. We're winning Vihiga. We're taking this. We got this. And it's true, we do. And anytime you speak positive about yourself and you believe in yourself, by the time you go out to do that which God has called you, oh, the world is not even a big place. The world is open for you. Wow. The world is open for you.
Yeah. And your words create your future. So you have to remember that.
Yes.
So let's talk about these words, which are beyond next level.
Yes.
What is that, beyond next level? Powerful words, your mission and vision for that.
Beyond next level is actually a platform that I will soon be launching.
Okay.
What I'm trying to do is to create a safe space where I can mentor you.
Okay.
I can mentor one-on-one. I can mentor as a group. We can do book club together, basically to help you thrive in that area that which God has called you. A good example, let's say we have a young lady out there. She knows that she wants to gain the confidence to become an MC, because you know what, at some other age, I want to be teaching people how to do MCing, because their class, do you know how much people like Jeff Koinange are paid? Those people, they have made millions because of their talent and their gift. So what I'm doing with Beyond Next Level is to provide a platform where I will mentor, I will inspire confidence, I will challenge. I will be, if you are in my team, I'm going to challenge you. Like, I know people who I have been telling, you know what, you are operating at a lower level than you should be. So really, this is a platform where I will provide the mentoring, the resources. If I don't have the resources, I will go look for those resources. We have a lot of gifted women in our midst, women and men. So if I know that there is a young person that is needing to get into politics, Faith, when I decide to get into politics, to launch fully, I am relying on people to help me, people who have been in politics, people who are strategists, people who are experienced. So if I'm going to rely on other people to provide the resources, it's in the same way that I want to use Beyond Next Level to provide resources for people who lack in a certain, maybe it could be something so small, but I will get somebody, I will connect you with the resources that you need so that you can rise above beyond the next level. It could be in your career, it could be in ministry, it could be in anything. And I'm really, really interested in shaping generations to come. Young people, when I go back to Vihiga, I want to launch the same, because I want to mentor those young people to tell them, listen, Somebody from Vihiga has gone to Texas and become something. You can rise up from where you are in Vihiga and go to China, Japan, and go and do amazing exploits. So watch out for beyond the next level. We're gonna do amazing. We're gonna inspire confidence. We're gonna inspire into greatness. And I know that I will be calling on some of you because I'm not gifted in everything. So if somebody in my mentoring group, if somebody in my group or a mastermind that I'm going to be forming, if you are in my mastermind and I realize that you're looking for something that Purity doesn't have, I won't be shy to provide the resources for you. Because let me tell you, when I equip you, when Beyond Next Level platform equips you and you go out there and become great, you will come and employ somebody, you will come and employ people that I know, my nephews, my nieces, your children, and this is also that we can empower beyond our families. You know what I mean? We want to empower the whole world, but we start from where we are.
Wow. Purity.
Yes.
The people in our mastermind need to watch this because they'll be completely blown out of the water. All this is sitting in your head. I mean,
it is.
You're such a visionary, and what I love about you is you're a visionary in terms of yourself and the goals that you have, your personal goals and aspirations, but also you want to also empower and equip people, and you also understand the power of speaking and the power of words and the power of providing resources for people in order to transform their life. Mm-hmm. So I'm so glad that you're not only looking at helping women, but you're also looking at helping children, helping families, and helping communities. But you also understand that it has to be a collaborative effort, that not, you can't be a lone wolf like we've learned, right?
No.
You have to do it in partnership with other people. So I'm so excited for you and all the things that you're going to do around Beyond Next Level. And I know we're almost running out of time, so I'm going to quickly go to my next question, and that's about self-care, because I know you do a lot, Purity.
I do.
And, and not just in terms of your own personal life and your kids and your family and what you're doing back home in Kenya and your plans for retirement. You have people coming into your inboxes who are always asking for help. So my question was really around, how do you stay focused, and what do you do for self-care? How do you prioritize and self-care too for yourself?
Yes. Self-care is so important, otherwise you will get burnt out. What I have decided to do, and this is a year that I have become very deliberate and intentional about self-care. I have started to let go of things that are not serving where I am going. Anything that is not serving the purposes and the vision that I have, it has to go. And that is hard because we are, like, for instance, I'm used to leading. But this year, I honestly don't want to lead anything, because leadership comes with a lot of responsibility. Unfortunately for me, I don't know how to do it 99%. It has to be 110%.
Yes.
And so when I start to feel I am overextending myself, I have to be very honest with myself, assess myself, and see that I am not the only one who can do it. And I realize that what happens is when you show people that you've got all these skills, people will relax and let you run. People will relax and let you run with it. So what I have done this year, I am letting go of projects that I have done for years. I am letting go of people who are, I love them, but they're just, I'm not of any use to them. First of all, I am not putting into their lives maybe what they're needing. And I have to tell them, hey, listen, I can't. I don't want to overextend myself. So I'm keeping my circle small, and believe me, it's hard. It's hard to keep my circle small. So what I have done is I'm letting go of many things that I have done for a long time. A lot of them have felt very secure doing them because, you know, you want to feel like you are important. But I want to know that I'm important because I truly believe I am important, even without being in organizations, without being in groups, without being in projects with other people. Does that make sense? So, and part of it is also feeling confident that just because I am not going to be in this particular project, my life still goes on. For self-care, I also do I travel a lot. I love to travel. I love to go places. I travel a lot. Once in a while, I will, actually, I've started to taking my workout very seriously.
Good.
Because I realize as I age, these bones are beginning to speak. I need to stretch. I need to XYZ, you know? And, you know, it's harder to lose weight when you are older. So I'm beginning to really, really make sure that I'm taking care of myself. I'm surrounding myself with people that love me and people that are honest, people that are authentic. I have desired that there is no way I can't continue. I cannot be with people who are not authentic. Because people who are not authentic, they will never tell you when you are going wrong. So my circle is becoming smaller, but it's full of people who are very, very authentic. People who will tell me, Purity, now you need to shut up. And I will not be offended because I know these people mean well. I'm also, I read a lot. I read a lot. I have over 10 books that I have bought this year, and I have to finish them before the end of the year. And I read a lot of, besides the word, I read a lot of self-help books because I want to continue being better. I am so far from being where I want to be. So I have to keep building myself. I have to keep learning. That way I can continue to be a better wife, a better mother, a better sister, a better, you know, whatever I need to be, I can always be better. More than that, I am really, really loving on myself and loving the God the God that just loves me so much.
Wow. So that's a really perfect answer. Like I give you 100% marks on that one. So this is the question, and because it kind of ties to what you're talking about in terms of prioritizing and all of that, one of the things that Purity and I have been doing is we've been working with a mastermind group. And one of the things that we're being asked to do in that group is really to narrow down our focus, because a lot of us, especially maybe it's something with women, we tend to do so much of everything. We stretch ourselves so much. And especially when you have a huge task or a vision, like for example, with me and the Hope Hub, with Purity and all the things that she's working on, and even this new project that she's working on, Beyond Next Level, it behooves us to make sure that we are eliminating distractions and focusing on that one thing. So even when she's saying, I'm going to remove this and these relationships and these groups that are not benefiting me, it's really because she's going to be hypersensitive and aware about where she's driving her energy towards, and it has to be her definite main purpose. So the question that I have for you as a final question, Purity, is what do you believe is your definite main purpose? And in other words, why are you here in this world, and what are you meant to impact?
I am here, Faith, to inspire. I am here to inspire people to the next level. I am here to inspire, especially the younger generation. I am also here to empower. One of the things that I go places where I go to preach, and the kind of preaching that I do is very different. I am so practical. I am real. When I go to preach, I challenge, especially I've been called to speak in women's meetings. I challenge people because let me tell you, you're not going to just be spiritual and going to heaven only. I want you to be the woman that can finance a women's retreat. How do you get to do that? When you are equipped, when you are empowered, when you are financially stable.
Yes.
So when I go to preach to women, I tell them, listen, my sisters, I love you, but I'm going to tell you, as you seek God, watch, you know, as you pray, even the Bible says, pray and watch. Don't pray and sleep. You know, people say that when the Europeans came to Kenya, they gave us the Bible, they told us, close your eyes, we pray, and they took our land. I give people the word, and when I leave them, I tell them, next time I come, you must be at another level. Spiritually, you must be at another level. Financially, you must be at another level. You have to go back to school if that's what you want to do. And I tell them, listen, I will tell you how to go back to school. I will connect you with resources. I will introduce you to financial aid if you don't know, if you qualify especially.
Yes.
So I am here on this earth to inspire and to empower. As I said before, God has been so good. He used 8 of us women from North America to start a circle. We started Kenyan North America Diaspora Circle. We started 8 women. As of today, Faith, we are almost 1,300 women in that circle. We started with 10,000 times 8, that was 80,000. As of today, we are close to 300 million in capital, Kenyan women. So this is what I say. I tell women, especially when I go to speak, you can be something. Let me tell you, poverty is bad. You know, Faith, you and I, we've studied this book, Think and Grow Rich, through the mastermind that Jean Adero leads us. And now we are studying the book called, the book by Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil.
Yes.
The fear of poverty is worse than death. We cannot be poor anymore.
No.
Not when you know purity. Because let me tell you, I was talking to somebody and I discovered that when you are poor, when you have to rely on other people to help you, you will always be a slave to them. You will always be a slave to those people.
Yes.
So if there is any way you come into contact with purity, I will inspire you. Of course, if you want to be inspired by purity, you will be inspired. I will inspire you and I will push you from mediocrity to excellence.
Wow.
Because I will tell you, you cannot be in this job for 20 years. No, if you are doing this job, by the time your kids come to become high school students, let them find you doing something else and something else, going from one glory to another. So faith, back to what God has called me to be, is to inspire and empower and to connect. I am a connector. Oh my God. I will be in the train. I will connect with the homeless people.
Yes.
I want to bring them home and cook for them. And because God has given me the heart to connect.
Yes.
So because of that, I am very sensitive. Any person who I am coming into contact with, they must go to another level. Ooh. I'm telling you, people will have to say, I met purity. My life changed.
Wow.
There's no way you can meet with Oprah today and become friends with Oprah and your life remains the same.
Sure.
So I am being very purposeful, using Beyond Next Level as a platform to inspire and to empower and to connect, to inspire people to become what they need to become, to empower them with the resources that they need to become what God needs them to be, and to push them and to connect them to their destiny.
Wow.
That's what I'm here for.
I love it. I love it. That is so powerful. So how can people find Purity Ateku? Where can we find you?
You can find me, for right now, you can find me on Facebook.
Yes.
I actually have, I actually started, I started a page. I'm starting a page. I don't know if it's public yet, but it's just, you can look me up, Purity Ateku. You can also follow me on Instagram, just as Purity Ateku. I'm learning, I'm telling you. I think I have about 100 followers. If all of you follow me, will be many.
Yes.
But for right now, I am, yes, you can find me on Facebook. Let me know if you need inspiration. I got some for you. Let me know if you need connections. I will get the resources for you. If you need empowerment, if you know, like I said, we started a circle, a circle. And this circle has grown. Faith, I have seen women women take a loan and go do amazing things. I've seen women own properties. I have seen women educate their children using this circle.
Wow.
So KNADS has become as a household name. And we are using that platform to empower women in North America to have investment.
Yes.
There are people who live here, they don't want to rely on their relatives. KNADS is a safe space for them to invest. And all you need to do is you have to be a Kenyan citizen living in North America. It could be Canada, it could be wherever North America is. Or if you are a diaspora returnee.
Yeah.
So this is the kind of empowerment that I'm talking about, where you empower people to become that which God has called them to be.
Amen. Amen.
Yes.
That is powerful. And so if anybody is looking to be inspired, to be empowered, to be connected, now you know the person that you need to go to and get a hold of.
Yes.
I was actually looking for that quote by Miles Monroe, and I'm going to read it on our way out because I think it's so powerful, and
Yes.
it epitomizes who you are and what it is that you're driving people, women, individuals to do about what it is that is within them, those gifts that God has given them innately. So this is the quote. It says, and it's sobering, especially if you're sitting on those gifts and watching Netflix and chilling. Okay, so this is the quote. It says, the wealthiest place in the world is not the gold mines of South America or the oil fields of Iraq or Iran. They are not the diamond mines of South Africa or the banks of the world. The wealthiest place on the planet is just down the road. It is the cemetery. There lie buried companies that were never started, inventions that were never made, best-selling books that were never written, and masterpieces that were never painted. In the cemetery is buried the greatest treasure of untapped potential. So I hope that you who is sitting here and watching this video, and you know that you have untapped potential, you know that you have gifts that you are yet to utilize, you need to take this opportunity and start now. You need to take this as a message that was specifically for you to really go to the next level and also go beyond next level. So Purity, thank you so much for blessing us with your energy, your exuberance. Additionally, thank you for showing us that that no matter what curveballs life throws your way, you always have options. You do not have to be hopeless. You do not have to be isolated or limited, that we can all excel and still go after our dreams. I believe that the reason you're such a force is that you are in God's will and in his grace, and his mercy and favor follow you, and he gives you the strength, the resources you need to continue to impact lives. It has been my privilege, it's been my joy to know you, and an honor to interview you this evening. Continued blessings, my love. Ciao.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Yes, thank you to everyone that logged in via Facebook. Thank you for being our audience. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for tagging. Please continue to share this video. This will impact someone's life. This will transform someone's life. Make sure that you continue to share this and continue to like and follow the Hope Hub, the Hope Dealer podcast. And of course, make sure that you follow Purity Ateku here on social media, on Instagram, all the places that she said that she's available, and connect with her. All right. God bless you all and take care. Ciao. The live stream. Okay. We're done.